aired October 5th of 1998, which is probably why I never heard of it, because
it was gone. It was gone like that. It was like Thanos saw that show.
Oh yeah. Over there in dtmerch.com, you see that we have all of our t-shirts, jerseys, backpacks, phone covers, and we even have the gift cards now. 25% off spring sale, and that's up until May 25th. You're going to want to be a subscriber so that you can go in there and have access to everything. You can do that many ways. The way I recommend is using your Amazon account, combining with our Amazon Pay button, username, password, put that in there, press send. Wait, what happened, Cor? Oh, shit. Fuck, man, what you do to me, Cor? What you do to me, man? I ain't not relax. Is that toasty goodness? Good plan, Cor, man. What you do to me, man? Hey, man, just relax, let it flow. Just accept it. It's that toasty goodness all over your body. We had the great TV show Massacre,
yes.
2018.
The great culling.
Tons of shows. You know what? I mean, people I thought were bulletproof. Kevin James got his show pulled.
Man, nobody wants to see Kevin James.
Apparently not.
he keeps thinking he's a thing, but
there was really a time, man. You know what? He was the king of Queens, man. Yeah. And that show lasted for a long time. Yeah. And they brought back the crew for this new show here, and they said, nope,
no, not interested.
Not anymore. Your reign king has been done.
Yeah, that's nice. Where's Adam Sandler though?
Yeah, exactly.
I think they brought in Adam Sandler and Chris Rock for a last episode.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what broke it.
But to me, I was like, oh, this is desperate.
There is some hope out there. Brooklyn Nine-Nine got picked up by NBC from Fox.
Yeah.
So some people were saved. Some people, they found some people floating in the ocean after Titanic sunk, pulled them on board. So there was some hope for some people out there. And listen, I don't blame y'all for being upset about some of these shows, because some of these shows were actually decent.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of how content is consumed today, with computers and phones.
There's that.
And the home market with Netflix and streaming.
Some shows are more expensive to produce. And some are owned by the studio, and some are owned by different production companies who sell it to the studio.
What we're going to do right now is go through some history of TV shows that we remember, and there are some shows that existed, even if it was only for a second. The thing is, they never should have existed in the first damn place.
No, you're losing a show that you love, but while these other shows made it onto there to begin with. It's
almost like no one love these shows at all, right out the box. You can ask one person, did you like that? And they're like, well, maybe in an ironic way, but as a real show? No, hell no, nobody watched that. And Martin and I, we're going to go ahead and just give a list of some of these shows here. These are old shows. So some of the clips that I was able to find are going to be very pixelated, very low quality, because some of these shows are
they're pre-digital.
They're pre-digital, and some people want to get rid of them so bad that you are finding like a bootleg of this.
Oh yeah.
So just keep that in mind when you see some of these clips. I tried to do the best that I could. Now let me go ahead and start out with one that I remember, and let me just set up some pretext here. If you were even a little kid, anywhere from 1981 to 1987, you probably remember this show because of the theme song. It was so popular, even the theme song was playing everywhere. You know what I like about this period, man? That's when they didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on credits, so they just took parts of the show and just freeze frame people. Freeze frame people just talking. It's like they didn't even give them a chance to pose for the camera. Like, hey, they just catch them. That's the theme to the critically and commercially successful Hill Street Blues. And I remember this is you go play at your friend's house if you're a kid, and if it was late at night, the parents would always be watching this because it was a very successful and popular show.
Yeah, it was a well-written show.
It was a well-written show. Thing about being well-written, Martin, is that this is the brainchild of Uber producer back in the day, TV producer Stephen Bochco, who's I was surprised to learn he's dead now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died at 74. I don't know how long ago it was, but he's dead now. But he was so successful
That he had done what, Saint Elsewhere, I think, before that.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of things, man. But he was so successful with his series of successful shows,
to the point where you said Stephen Bochco presents, and people went, "Ooh,
oh,
what's his next project?"
Sometimes you didn't get to that presents. He was like, "Where is he? What do you got?" I'm like, Stephen Bochco was a drug. I want some of that. But he was so successful that NBC gave him like almost unheralded power to do whatever he wanted to do. And that was funny because when he got that power, one day he just said, "You know something?
I can do anything."
And what I'm going to do next, how about this? I do like a gritty cop show like Hill Street Blues, but I make it a musical.
A musical about police? As a weekly series.
As a weekly series. Can't you picture it now? And that is where, thus, the classic show Cop Rock was born.
He calls you son, he's not your dad, he's just a dumb white cop and you made him mad.
Punk with a badge, carved up a man, worked all his life for it, 8 and 9 grand.
You know, no black people wrote that. Police Brutality, the musical.
Wow.
He's a dumb white cop and you made him mad. Oh! You saw it correctly, people. It started out as something gritty. It started out as something kind of dark, and people just broke into songs, like a Disney animated movie, some musical from the 60s.
Musical on Broadway, yeah.
On Broadway, yeah. It was. This thing lasted a miraculous 11 episodes.
What I remember was there was chatter about it coming out because TV guys talk about it, but even they were like, "Yeah, we don't know about this. It does not sound like it's going to work. We're pretty sure it's going to fail." And Stephen Bochco was always like, "Y'all will see. Just wait. Just wait. It's going to be revolutionary."
Oh yeah, that's because he was like, "Don't you know I am Stephen Bochco, super producer?" TV Guide and the other bunch of sources, they labeled this as one of the top 10 blunders in television history ever. And the only reason why I think that this lasted 11 series, but I think people just wait to see, are they serious? You know, they wait for that episode with the punchline.
Sure, and there was always that, but it's Bochco though. He swears it's going to turn around. It just needs to find its audience. Once people get used to it, they'll fall in love with it.
Oh yeah, and it's about the 10th episode. People are like, "Oh, they're serious."
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, get that shit on out of here. This one is one that you brought up to me that was influenced by a big sci-fi movie back in the day.
Yeah.
Some people say, you know, you talk about these other video game movies. This was the best video game movie ever made. And not only was it a great movie, sort of a cult classic now, but it was influential. Do you know what I'm bringing up right now?
I think you're talking about Auto Man.
What the hell is this, man?
With the ability to turn at right angles.
I've never heard of this before, man. You brought up like a few months back.
Yeah, we were talking about video game adaptations in Tron. Well, you know, it's always been a thing with TV where a popular movie is out and they go, "Okay, that's the thing. We got to do something." Like Battlestar Galactica came about because of Star Wars.
Yeah.
That was them trying to do that.
Yeah.
So Tron was big. And this was them trying to do Tron for TV.
I got to say, man, with the look, they kind of pulled it off.
Yeah. I mean, they had Desi Arnaz Jr., the son of Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, as this nerdy cop
He sure is.
who knew computers, and he creates this program that creates a living guy. Yeah, they went around solving crimes, but him was always like, "No, Auto Man, you can't just do that." Yeah, that he could res up a car and other stuff and had a glowing suit.
Like a helicopter.
Yeah. Cop Rock came with a lot of publicity, so it had a lot of people ready to watch it, whereas this was like, okay. I think it was probably a huge drop-off after the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
And then just nobody cared.
Auto Man. I can automatically rip off Tron. Let me just say that this one, I would say that is not only history-making, but it's probably on this list the show that was the most ahead of its time. Because for some reason, and I can't understand why, but the world just wasn't ready for a sitcom about slavery.
Good and the bad. It was the crossroads of our being, and it was a hell of a crossroads. Who would have thought there was a comedy in all that?
No one! Martin, what is this?
What is it, The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer?
Yes, The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer.
Well, we did.
Fortune's loving countenance looked upon me when Niblet, my trusted manservant and part-time footrest, happened upon the discovery of a lifetime.
So they thought, okay, we give this nigga an English accent and give him a white slave. Everything's gonna be all right. Black people said, no, hell no.
No!
So I had for years no clue that this series even existed. And this was UPN. Now this is also historical for being on this list, the show that was canceled the quickest.
Yeah.
Like after, this was on UPN, this aired October 5th of 1998, which is probably why I never heard of it, because
Oh, it was gone. It was gone like that. It was like Thanos saw that show.
oh yeah. And everybody, it wasn't 50%, everybody was gone. Thanos and I gotta cross the universe to get rid of this shit. And this shit here, man, it was it was gone a week later. Like there
was protest.
And there was protest, and they defied the protest. And once somebody threw a rock through the window of UPN, they said, nope, this got to go. It was canceled a week later. Like Cop Rock is considered to be one of the most ill-conceived shows in history.
It's high concept. And sometimes somebody comes with a high concept show and it works. And sometimes it really, really doesn't.
Because you had to be really high to make up that concept. It's bullshit, man. People are like, oh, it's like, no, man, it was just common sense. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, just like your boys wanting to do that show on HBO. Like, but what if the South won? It's like, nobody wants to see that
like
shit.
The dudes from Game of Thrones, and they're like, man, have you never seen The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer? And you can't blame it because they're like, no. They're like, oh yeah, it only lasted one show, so all right. But go to YouTube and look that shit up. I even think the guys who did Game of Thrones, they watched this and they're like, yeah, we can't do this.
Right. That's what finally convinced them.
Yeah. Oh no. What were we thinking? Let's get into something. Now let's get into some real weirdness. Marty said he had to say what to me about 5 times when I was driving. Like, Marty got this one show you might have heard of. I'm gonna put on the list. Marty, like, what? And the show is called. Now, just bear with me for a second. The show is called Fish Police.
Oh yeah, Fish Police.
Okay, you remember this, but a lot of people.
I never got to see it, but I knew about the comic.
Okay, so there was a comic on this, but a lot of people didn't even know the comic. It was kind of a cult classic comic, kind of an underground comic.
Yeah, it was from a small independent company.
Yeah. And what I like about Fish Police when it was announced, it's probably the most straightforward, simplest title that you could tell somebody, yet people were just confused.
Sure.
People would ask you over and over, they'd be like, so let me get this, Fish Police. Hold on, wait. Fish that actually are police. Yes.
I mean, post SpongeBob, you could conceive of it now.
No, Mark.
But before that,
no, because this was on prime time.
Right, I know.
Because people say, you mean you putting a show at nighttime for adults about fish that solve crimes? Yes, and they're cartoon fish. Man, get the fuck out of my house right now. Be like Harrison Ford. Get the fuck out of my house.
Because honestly, even the comic was described as Hill Street Blues with fish.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. It was they wanted, and it ended up being something completely different.
Melting pot, then Fish City can only be described as the bouillabaisse. Trust me, being a good cop in a bad town can be murder.
Now they wanted to do like this film war thing. I'll get into it in a little bit, but at the time, I mean, they banked hard on this.
Did they?
Fish Police. I mean, they did all kind of promotions, and they had, for television, an impressive cast. At the time, they had John Ritter doing voices, Tim Curry, Ed Asner doing a voice. They even did commercials where they showed the cast talking as their human selves, and they go through a door and turn to fish. And they watch me because now I'm all wet.
Yeah, I can just see just from that little intro, like the puns are just too much.
Oh, that's the problem with this. This was at a time when people were very much on cocaine, and they would sign off on anything that was animated.
Yeah.
This premiered at the time, 1992, when a couple of years before, you had The Simpsons premiere. And every station wanted their animated equivalent, their phenomena.
That's right.
Like The Simpsons. You had things like Family Dog, which kind of made sense because they had their premiere on a Steven Spielberg primetime show called Amazing Stories.
Right.
And the short that they did for that was great, Family Dog. It was something that's produced by Tim Burton. And people thought like, oh shit, a collaboration between Tim Burton and Steven Spielberg? Oh, this is going to be amazing. Nope, that shit got canceled quick. And the other one that was out there that got signed up on really quick was Capital Critters. And the thing with Capital Critters, that also got signed off on because they had your boy up there that was responsible for this.
Cause you son, he's not your dad, he's just a don't like cop. You made him mad.
Steven Bochco. He was climbing mountains of cocaine at the time. All those shows got canceled, I believe, after 6 episodes. And some people say he should have never got that much. Biggest thing that was wrong with this, though, is that the people who knew the comic, they said it's nothing like the comic.
Right.
The comic was kind of, it was dark, it was gritty, the artwork was a little edgier.
Yeah.
You know, in the show wanted to be an adult primetime show, but they, for some reason, Hanna-Barbera, they were so used to doing kids shows, are doing real, you know, generic type of humor that they were trying to do. Not the gritty show that took place sort of in a contemporary city like the comic. Right. They wanted to do, like I said, a film war. And the humor that they did in there was not really adult humor. It was fish puns, and a lot of it was still humor for kids.
Hey, I can be as unpredictable as the next fish.
You know something, man?
Was that supposed to be a joke?
That was a joke. If you're listening, what happened was I could be unpredictable as the next guy. He spins a chair. You don't know if he was doing that because he wants to show how unpredictable he is or because he accidentally spun the chair and it's a physical gag. The staging in this was terrible. The writing in this was horrible. And it was nothing like the humor of the show. A lot of people look at this and they're like, wonder why this went wrong. You know, this is something that the reason why I picked it is because it's amazing that you would never see anything get approved like this for network television. This wouldn't even go as far as Adult Swim, even though Adult Swim aired it at one time. Late at night.
Sure. And you could see how they would. But a show like that, you know, as bad as it is, it's still expensive to produce.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. It's very expensive.
And yeah, it's all about them seeing Simpsons money in their eyes.
Yeah. Well, I remember when this was canceled. It was a shock to the world. I remember the headlines the next day. Fish police canceled. World comes to a standstill.
Oh, I thought the headline was, there was a show called Fish Police?
I remember there was a show out there, and it was called Father of the Pride. Do you remember this?
You were telling me about this. This is what shocked me.
Now, I remember a friend of mine actually went to work on this show called Father of the Pride. This is after we got laid off from this other studio that we were working at. And I said, what are you up to now, man? He's like, man, I got this amazing job lined up. I'm going to be working for Jeffrey Katzenberg. Oh, shit. So you working for DreamWorks Movies? He's like, nah, man. They got a TV show coming up. And the concept is cool. And I said, well, what is it? You allowed to tell me? He's like, well, I really shouldn't say this, but he's like, nah, it's about Siegfried and Roy. And it's not about them, though. It's about, you know, what is life like when they're not doing shows from the lions' point of view, the lions in their family.
And you said, you know what, asshole, if you don't want to tell me, that's fine.
What if they, you know, what do we watch them when they're doing things like, you know, raising their kids, going grocery shopping? And he just stopped and just like, Jesus, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I got to go write my resume.
I'm still getting canceled on.
And that's what it is, man. It's about what the lions do. It's not like what they do at the circus after the shows are done. No, they go back to the suburbs, the lion suburbs in the jungle.
The camera's cut on right after all the exciting part ends.
Yeah. They go back and it's like the Flintstones or something, you know? It's like the Simpsons. And a lot of people have said, yeah, that's one of the things that they couldn't even do their own thing. It's like you got this weird ass concept and they were ripping off anywhere from the Simpsons to South Park to Family Guy with this. And it was strange because once they got through with the show, they rose up on 2 legs and lived like people. They went, they had neighbors. They made coffee and drank it on their way to work. It was, it was a weird show, man.
Do you have a clip of it?
I
just
had
an image.
Oh no, for one, I got the intro, which shows you the voices that were involved with this, like John Goodman, Cheryl Hines, Orlando Jones, Carl Reiner. That was one of the biggest ones. They said we got television, comedy, producing, writing legend Carl Reiner, father of Rob Reiner. And that guy was even telling me, like, that's kind of what sold it, man, that they were able to get that guy to come in and do it.
Lady luck, please let the dice stay hot. Let me shoot at 7 with every shot. Hey,
yeah, man. It maybe it's Siegfried and Roy and it was a kid's show. If that wasn't, if those elements weren't involved and that's what it was, it could probably work.
Sure, just as a family sitcom, except with lions.
Yeah, exactly, man.
They did it with dinosaurs.
Or like dinosaurs. Had it been like something where you didn't like play up Siegfried and Roy and you aired it on NBC, like ABC Family or something, but no, they made a big deal. Like, hey, don't be fooled by these cute cartoon lions. Put the kids to bed because these lions are for the adults out there. They made a big deal about this. And I know the animation looks dated, but at the time, it really was a big deal about a CG animated show going to network like that.
Nobody could afford to do that.
Nobody could afford to do that except Jeffrey Katzenberg, who he had enough pull to where he got this crazy. Shut up. Boo this man. I wish a lion just came in and just tacked your ass right now. They just shamelessly plugged DreamWorks properties and material. People said, you know what? I tried to give this bullshit a chance. I draw the line when you have a guest appearance by a certain donkey in a certain DreamWorks movie.
Oh, no. Don't forget the flowers for that killer smile.
Yes, people, Eddie Murphy's donkey from Shrek was billed as a big guest appearance in this.
Isn't donkey in a completely different time period?
Man, they don't give a fuck. Donkey sells. And we just sell these goddamn lines right here.
He walked through a time vortex to come to there.
Yeah. He climbed through a giant cocaine vortex and ended up here. Even as deep was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? How are you doing here? The humor was bad. They really tried to push, like they forced the adult humor. Like it was almost like kids trying to write adult humor.
The elephant? You're into that?
Come on, you never had the pinned in the lake fantasy? I'm just here at the water's edge getting a drink. Whoops, I slip.
Oh my God, put the kids to bed, Marty. They can't hear all these lines talking this way. This edgy adult humor right here.
Bunch of old date raping lions.
Oh, you should have seen that other line at the end. Oh, I love the elephants. Give me my tranquilizers. Oh, shut the fuck up. It got really weird when they decided, because you can kind of take it as, all right, maybe this is something where it's a different world from Siegfried and Roy. Nah, man, they came in and made their appearance too, and it just got creepy.
But before you go, are you sure there's nothing I can get for you boys? We got homemade ice cream.
Mit real chocolate chips.
Don't fall for it, Ziggy.
I like how Siegfried looks like Billy Idol.
Oh, man, this is... God tried to. You had Siegfried and Roy in there. They're doing this thing about Siegfried and Roy and their lions.
You gotta have them in there, man.
Yeah, God tried to give them a warning before this even came out. This came out in 2005. In 2003, that tiger said, "Don't do it."
Oh, it came out 2 years after.
Yes.
Oh my God, what?
And production kept on going.
Oh shit.
Yeah, man.
Oh shit.
And maybe survived that tiger attack, but them ratings and them critics, they were vicious. It did not make it. Oh, Martin, I saved the big what the fuck for last. The one that you told me. What the hell is this, Martin? Martin, tell the people what you.
Okay, if I think I know what you're talking about, it's Pink Lady, sometimes known as Pink Lady and Jeff.
Pink Lady in their American TV debut. He's hit comic Jeff Altman. Pink Lady, a new series coming soon on NBC. You bet.
Boy, you know that's a long time ago. When racism was cool. I ain't saying it's racist either, but they would be very careful to not do that today.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Or not try to put a show like this together in the first place.
Yeah, you're looking at this show because that's what it was. It was, it was pretty much just this comedian saying these stereotypical Japanese things, and then these two objectified Japanese chicks.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole pull of it. Is that group Pink Lady, me and Kay, were the biggest thing in Japan. Nobody over here knew about them. The producer found out and said, "We got to get some of that over here. Build a show around them." Oh yeah, man! And got your boy Sid and Marty Krofft to build a variety show around them. And they were told that the girls speak English and Japanese. And then they got here and found out, no, they only speak Japanese. Yep.
But the production kept going.
And yeah, they never could get those girls to speak English.
No, at the time, they had guests who came on. Mm-hmm. And they would look at the producer like, what the fuck are they saying? Right. And they were told they spoke English. Right. They would actually trick people to be on there.
Yeah, they tricked people. And the script was written out for the girls to say phonetically. They'd learn their lines phonetically. And then if the guests fell through and they had to rewrite jokes, they couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, they couldn't do it.
Go with it.
And I think also they were tricked because these girls at the time, in 1979, they're called Pink Lady.
Yeah.
Pink Lady had sales of $70 million just in recordings alone, and then they had their singles. But then if you included commercials, TV appearances, product sponsorships, they brought in over $100 million. They were a huge hit, and sometimes they were so huge that they sang in English. They had a song called "Kiss in the Dark," I believe. Right. That was their biggest single, and they would actually sing that in English, sometimes even over in Japan. This is the tape they show guest appearances on the show. You see, they sang it in English. They know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
When they got there, like, bitch, you don't know what the fuck I'm saying, do you? Yes.
Yes. Yes. Oh, very much. Yes.
Thank you. I love your show too. That humor is horrible.
And of course, our comedy players, Jim Varney, Anna Mathias, and Sherry Eichen.
He's reading hard. Putting them dramatic pauses in there.
Yeah, man, to revamp the show, they brought Ernest on to give it new life.
Know what I mean, girl? Yes.
Huh? Hot tub time.
No, I don't do that anymore. We've done that on several shows already. You see, I don't go in a hot... No, girls, you can go back there and change. No, you're wasting your time.
He sounds like Brian from Family Guy.
I know he does.
That's a waste of time back there, because I just, forget it. Last time I did this with a tux, it shrunk so much the chimp could have worn it. Well, I don't know. This always helps change my mind.
And that's what people are like, I don't give a fuck what they say.
Well, that was the thing with the producers reading about it, was Jeff Altman, he didn't want to do it. Like, he did it once. And it's like, all right, this is a dumb running gag. I don't want to keep doing this. And the producer's like, yeah, we're going to keep having those girls getting bikinis at the end of the show. So you better get your ass in the hot tub.
Oh, yeah. And the only reason why I keep this going is because they show you some other things that they always had to bring out in the 70s. Whoa! You happen to be in one.
Yeah.
Call my friend to do.
And this is also a time when every show had to have a chimpanzee. Just a chimpanzee smoking a cigar with a fedora on.
I know, he's got that look like, y'all better get in his hot tub. I want to fuck.
Yeah. And this is considered to be Sid and Marty Krofft's worst show. Now, if you know who Sid and Marty Krofft is, that's a mighty feat.
That's saying a lot.
Sid and Marty Krofft did, and they mostly did stuff for kids.
For Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Just cheap stuff.
It was live action stuff for kids. Mm-hmm. Some of it really cool, like Land of the Lost, and some of it just downright goofy, like, Lidsville and Electra Woman and Dinah Girl. You really had to see the stuff that Sid and Marty Krofft was doing. They made a show about a bunch of British teenagers in a rock band who had insect wings.
Oh, yes.
Who lived in a jukebox, and they were always being chased around by some old white woman.
Oh, Martha Ray.
If your show was worse than if your show was worse than the show with the kazoo solo and the teenage bugs that lived in a jukebox with Martha Ray, then you achieved something. Yeah. Out of all the what the fuck shows they did, I know. Pink Lady and Jeff was the most what the fuck in this show. that they had ever done.
Hey, well, they aired 5 episodes, and there was a 6.
Oh, was it only 5 episodes?
Well, there was 6. They canceled it by 5, and they said if you bought the collection, you could see the 6th episode.
I just love that Pink Lady and Jeff.
Yeah,
they pushed for it so hard because everybody wanted The Simpsons. Back at that time, everybody wanted a Sonny and Cher.
Right. Yeah, because during that time, there was that time up until that point, variety shows were the thing, and if anybody who had a little bit of heat got a variety show.
Yeah.
Jackson 5. Sonny and Cher was the biggest, but the Jackson 5 and Mac Davis and Glenn Campbell. And almost anybody.
Even in the 80s, Barbara Mandrell and the Mandrell sisters.
Yeah, exactly.
With the Krofft puppets.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But by this time, the time this is coming on, variety shows were on a decline.
Were they?
Yeah.
Wow.
There had just been too many of them.
You mean Pink Lady and Jeff couldn't save it? Go ahead. And they didn't even put Jeff on that. Look at it. Coming soon, Pink Lady.
No, that was the thing. They could call it Pink Lady and Jeff, but all the writing had to say just Pink Lady.
Okay. There you go. All right, everybody. If you got any shows that were canceled that didn't deserve to exist in the first damn place, not you. I'm talking to them. Yeah, no, not you. No, thank you. No.
He might have a good one.
He might, but he can put it in the comment section, like y'all can. You watching this on YouTube, Double Toasted, wherever you can put your comment. Felix, put it in there. We'll look at it there.